shoes, so they study. Run up on a nigga, now he blasting. No show, I need a fall for the monies. Only riding with the soldiers in the mighties. Brave friend, you gon' die like the last thing. We don't get phased by the traffic. We just want fame and a mansion. Money only evil in the last thing. No peace for the beast. So if I go to fight just to breathe, let it be. My people still caged, not free. Living in the land of greed, so I don't need a reason to flee. Before I go, I'll leave. A friend of an upper enemy, let me speak. See, I know you ain't real, you a leech. How you say you practice what you preach, and my brother's still dying in the street. If you want smoke, you can have it. Running from the class, A bandit. We gon' use force like it minded. And they kill it, but my niggas stick active. No, it ain't passion. When you hear me scream, fuck the system. You can keep it cold, I ain't a victim. And if you ain't involved, keep your distance. I can never kick you with a snitch. The runner said he got his first shipment in. Now we doing chemistry in kitchens. Tell him stay persistent. Hey. Yeah, this is day of the resistance, cruel and vicious. I know you heard me, you ain't listening. I thought he had time, but he didn't. Died in an instant. I'ma be the greatest. Took a L, but we going through some phases, and I was born broke, so this money couldn't change it. Did it on my own, fuck a payslip. Till everybody eating, I ain't made it. They tired of me preaching, but insane shit. Just a bunch of old faces, stuck up in the 80s, ready for the darkest phases. Cool, we been to the darkest places. See the fire in my eyes still blazing. I wish a lane would try aiming. Just let me speak. Just let me speak, yeah. I'ma be the, yeah. Oh, going through some phases. This money couldn't, did it on my own, yeah. Just let me speak. I am the true name.
Blessed love. His time is up, family. Blessed love. How you doing, my people? So yeah, welcome to Afua Speaks Community Conversations, our fresh go. I'm out in the garden and I'm feeling nature and ancestral spirits right now. We are in a very upbeat mood tonight, my brothers and sisters. I'm wondering if the message got out because a lot of people are like, oh, what's going on? But yeah, we're here and we're going to be celebrating today. Today's a very, very special day. In fact, it's been a special week. Let's just call it that. And without further ado, we all know why we're here. This is a victory lap for the Milton Keynes family. This is a victory lap, my people. And I'm going to explore tonight. Not only we're going to hear from Granddad Derek. We've got Grandma Liz and Auntie Didi. And we've also got Brother Rangi. You remember Brother Rangi from LCS News? So we've got a full panel tonight, and we're going to be discussing the issues around what has been going on, why this has happened, how it can be prevented. And we're also going to hear from the family, you know, how they did it. Because I think there's a lot of learning to be done here, my brothers and sisters. So without further ado, let's bring them on. If I can get to my mouse, here we go. Blessed love.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hi, Rangi. Hi, Dad.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Congratulations, man. I am so happy. Happy. Yes.
So I'm like early, but yes.
Actually, shouldn't I? Should have got a glass of something, I think. Absolutely, 100%. Rangi, they did it. Like you did it. You know, you've had classes, haven't you? It's nice when we can kick them in the teeth. How you feeling, Derek?
I'm feeling I'm overwhelmed at the moment because I was sanctioned. They imposed a penalty on me for not seeing my grandchildren for over 7 months, and it brought a shockwave to me when I saw the return of them, and it was very emotional.
Yes.
Very emotional.
Yes. Let's have a look at the moment, and then we'll talk a little bit more about, you know, thoughts and feelings. But let's have a look at the moment that they actually returned. Can everybody camera up for me so we can see it better? If you just turn your cameras off just for a minute. We've got that. We've captured that, haven't we? That is, yeah, we've captured that. Let's see the moment that these people did the right thing at last. Let's get it up. Here we go.
Here, turn that camera off. You're looking at it.
Yeah. Hold this, please. Granddad. Granddad bed. Yeah, granddad. Come on, Mira. Granddad. Yeah, granddad. Huh?
Here we go then.
You first. Hello.
Come on then.
Go on.
Come on then. Watch your step. Here we go.
Hello, Princess. Hello, Princess. Queen's back. Hello, Mama.
All right.
Thank you. So, that's it then. Yes, that's all the stuff.
Granddad. Granddad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know granddad, ain't it? You know granddad, ain't it? You know granddad, ain't it?
Hello, big boy.
Huh?
Hello, big boy. Hello.
Give granddad hug. Give granddad hug.
Go give granddad hug and kiss.
Give granddad hug. Yeah. Yeah. Granddad. Yeah.
Come down. Here we go.
Yeah, it's recorded. It's recorded.
It
So.
is. My pretty girl is back home.
Hey,
And my son.
Hey,
Yeah.
Oh, she come. Look. She come to granddad, man.
Yeah.
Look, she come to granddad. Look, granddad beard. Granddad beard's gone. Granddad beard's gone. You remember granddad had a beard? Granddad beard's gone. And look, he knows the voice, you know.
He's trying to record.
Yeah, he is. Granddad beard's gone, ain't it? Yeah, look, granddad grip. See, look, yeah, granddad. Yeah, granddad. See, yeah, granddad's beard. Yeah, she know granddad boy.
Look at her.
Come to granddad. Come to granddad. Hello, granddad. Yeah, granddad. Yeah, granddad.
Come here, Amira.
Yeah, granddad's beard. Look, you know granddad's beard, ain't it?
Yeah.
Granddad, ain't it?
Hang on a minute. It's the dog. Hello. Hello. Yeah, that's absolutely fine if that's everything. No, I don't have any questions unless there's any further information I need to be made aware of. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, you home? You home?
Yeah, Diane.
Do you know what? I don't think there's a dry eye in the house right now. There isn't a dry eye in the house right now. You guys are going to set me off on the live. That was so emotional. There must have been a real mix of emotions going on there. One of the things that struck me was that little Amira didn't recognize Granddad without his beard at first. And then she got it. You know, that was the kind of standout moment for me. She got it and she realized who her granddaddy is, you know. Take me through that. Take me what you guys were experiencing. Derek, I know that you were saying it's a mix of emotions. Liz, Edie.
Can I just first of all say, before we go on to say anything,
I've got to give the biggest thanks to you, Afua.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how much your support and the His Time Is Up team has meant to this family.
Thank you so much.
I need to thank you. I need to thank the His Time Is Up team. I need to thank every single person that came to the demonstrations, whether it be in London or Milton Keynes. I need to thank Killer P.
Killer P, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I need to give those thanks to you, Afua. I love you so much, sis.
Yes, sis.
You know,
Straight back at you, my sister, straight back at you.
and
really
every single person that has supported this family, that has given us the support, whether it be on my social media platforms, it is
messages
inundated with messages,
inbox, friends checking in,
of just constant support.
Yeah.
So before I can speak, I needed to do that first and foremost. And Rangi as well.
Thank you.
You know, thank you so much, Rangi.
Man like Rangi.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, and cheers to that.
Yeah.
And everybody.
Yeah.
And may I also take this opportunity to thank our departed sister Lorraine.
Absolutely, 100%.
Who showed up for us.
Yeah,
at the demonstration.
So thank you all so much. So, you know, getting back to where we're at now.
It must be an
I'm so grateful. Yeah.
It must be kind of that high and then the low of knowing that you've missed so much. I mean, that's how I imagine it.
7 months.
I cannot imagine it.
My nephew has teeth. When he left, he never had teeth. Amira's speaking and saying words, you know, hello, love you, bye. She was taken from my home, and prior to her being taken, I was the one looking after her because my sister and my brother-in-law were going back and forth to court. So it hurt me and I felt it.
Just let it flow, sis. You know, after a trauma like that, it's when you're through it, that's when all the emotions start to come out, because you've been in battle mode up until this point. You've been in literal autopilot battle mode. All of you have, you know, Derek, yourself, Denise, her partner, everyone, the whole family has been in hypersensitized battle mode. So I think kind of let those emotions come out.
I think for me as a mother and as a grandmother, I think, you know, with not meaning to be disrespectful to men, but where we women are more maternal instantaneously, I felt that I couldn't take away my daughter's pain, and that's the thing that hurt me the most.
Yeah,
as a mother, I couldn't take away my daughter's pain. The fact that she has lost her breastfeeding experience,
yes,
because of these people. You know, and the saddest thing about it, are we not supposed to take our children to a hospital? Because this is from where it all started. Yes. Are we not supposed to take our children to a hospital to seek medical attention for something that,
as a mother that has a duty of care for their child,
for a child, you charge my daughter with neglect? Make that make sense.
They didn't charge her.
Well, they didn't charge her, but they
arrested her
based on that.
Yeah.
You see, this is one of the reasons that we have to get back to the knowledge of our grandmothers when it comes on to herbal healing. We really do, because we cannot rely on these people. You know, I usually just go to the hospital for a diagnosis. That's it. You know, and then I'm gone.
Most definitely.
What it is, and then I know how to treat it. Obviously, it comes on to surgery and things like this. We just need more of our own people in the driving seat, because those are things that we can't conduct for ourselves. You know? Yeah. It just highlights this kind of thing.
The hospital have got a lot to answer for, and there's going to be criminal charges brought against individuals.
Roll, my sister.
Definitely. Definitely. Especially the one individual, and I'm going to name her, Emma Codrington of Milton Keynes University Hospital. She actually said to me and my daughter, Denise, that she would do whatever it takes
and I was on the phone at the time.
My grandson
back. How hoarse we were, screaming.
And what she did to do that was traveled 51 miles in an ambulance,
posing as an ambulance crew.
What?
Posing as an
Sorry, this
posing
one's
as
new.
ambulance crew.
Take me, talk to me. What are
Yeah,
you saying?
yeah. She
was-
drove 51 miles from Milton Keynes when my door was kicked off, and they were coming for a mare. She was disguised as ambulance staff crew, and she breached the emergency department of St. George's Hospital because it was labelled that there was an emergency department breach, and she was the breach because she had no business being in that hospital. So and what makes it worse? Yes, yeah. What makes it worse is she wanted to bring my nephew back to Milton Keynes, 51 miles, and he was supposed to be dying. We need to make that make sense.
The hell?
There's so many things that has, you know, that's come to light. There's been a vast amount of fraudulent paperwork.
Yes.
Copy and paste.
Police disclosures missing.
Police disclosures missing.
Medical disclosures missing.
You know, retracting stuff because they were found out. A lot of stuff that they retracted because, you know, they were found out. It's absolutely disgusting to think that, you know, this is the United Kingdom and 2023, we're living amongst criminals within organisation. This is a criminal organisation of child kidnappers, traffickers, whatever you want to call it. To me, that's what they are, and that's what they will remain to me. They're criminals that need to go to jail. And I, for one, along with my family, we are going to make sure that we get justice, because things like this cannot be allowed to get to go on. The only thing that my grandson needed was vitamin C and D. And they went and they on a narrative that he had a seizure. You lying criminals. You lying criminals.
Which turned out to be mentioned that there was no seizures witnessed. All of a sudden, I guess they had no choice but to tell somewhat truth, I say, because a lot of lies. The thing is, because my grandson,
the ones that they mix with the truth, and they're quite good at that, aren't they?
Yeah. Because my grandson was in the care of St. George's Hospital, for which I may add that we were very happy with the care that he was receiving at St. George's. And for what we wanted him to remain in the hospital until it was time for my grandson to be handed back to his parents. But Milton Keynes had an ulterior motive, because they seem to think that they are president over any other hospital out of their jurisdiction. They felt that the children, because they were born in Milton Keynes, they were their property. Well, Milton Keynes, you ain't nobody's property. You're nothing but a criminal organisation, and we found out exactly what you were right from the beginning. So
that's why they were so scared of you guys. They were absolutely terrified of you guys. You know, that's why they had to pull the moves that they've pulled. They realised quite quickly that they picked on the wrong family.
Oh, they sure did.
Well, we were down. Well, my sister was down as asylum seeker at flight risk. That's what the narrative was. That's what the narrative was. That's why the mounted police officers came and kicked off my door the way that they did, because they were asylum seekers supposedly at flight risk.
And considering they was meant to be asylum seekers at flight risk, you couldn't even get the date of birth right. You couldn't even get the name right. So yet again, you make that make sense.
Discrimination against their Muslim surnames as well. That's what it was.
And, you know, these are people that claim that they are doing what is in the best interest of the children. When you went and you damaged my daughter's door.
The Children's Act is the paramountcy of the child's welfare, apparently.
They started they started my daughter's children, my Dee Dee's children, as well as Amir. They startled those children. Anybody would have thought it was a drugs raid. 100%. Absolutely disgusting.
I don't understand it. I don't understand the rationale that says that we are going to save a traumatized child, but yet we are going to do that in a traumatizing way. I don't understand.
Even the nature, the nature of how they took Amira. I mean, just going back to that night,
on live.
Yeah.
On a live, we was on your live, sis.
Yeah.
You know.
The fact that they were so underhanded to come back at 2 a.m. in the morning to remove the child because they didn't want to.
They waited. Yeah, they waited until
if they had
Derek left.
Right. So there was no man figure in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. And they went back and booted in the door, of which I've uploaded pictures, you know, on my social media platforms for you to see the damage. Not on one occasion, but twice they did that.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. You know.
And while my daughter was in Brixton police station, we had this wicked Carla Hurd, that one there, because I don't want to swear, right?
That one that spirited herself away.
Right. Yeah, she's mostly gone back to some cave somewhere. Anyway, she was filing proposed
matters with no evidence.
Yeah.
Proposed matters, even the integrity of the documents that she was submitting to court had to be questioned, because I work in the NHS field, and I mean, documents need to be in a certain structure and format, and what she was submitting, even her application to the court, from what I heard, was a shambles.
What about the bit when she told my daughter that she didn't need to tell her where? Yeah.
She perverted the courts of justice because we've got it documented that she said she didn't need to give my sister the court hearing time and where the court hearing would be held. And then she went and lied and said that, you know, my sister hadn't turned up to court. But unfortunately for her, she was at the wrong courts of justice that day. So I don't know if any of you could remember back to a video of a welfare check being done in my home. That was then, of the social worker lying, saying that she hadn't turned up to court and they were concerned about Amira's welfare.
Yes.
And when I played her the recording, because this is what it is important to do.
Exactly.
Document and record.
It is your right.
Under the Transparency Act, document and record everything.
Yeah.
Because with that evidence being provided,
I think that's where you guys won. You guys got the upper hand by making sure that everything was video recorded. Yeah.
They were so busy watching my social media because that's all that they were interested in. Whenever they spoke to my son-in-law and my daughter, they kept saying, "Who is it that's posting this?" For me, I couldn't care less. That's my social media is my social media, and I was exposing them literally, and that's what they could not handle. Because instead of the legal team concentrating, their legal team concentrating on the job at hand, they were busy watching Beth O. So that's why every time I kept putting up, well, you're so interested in what Beth O's doing. Hi, here's some more that I'm gonna post for you. You criminals.
100%. I want to know do you remember all of the conjecture and the chat that surrounded the event from people in our community, professional?
Yes. Yeah, that we were we were affiliated with drugs, and all sorts of things were coming up. That I smoked weed on camera, and we don't look like the type of family that good riddance to children were taken. I mean,
wow.
I'm going to call it for what it is. Mr. Raspek, if he likes to tune in or whatever the case is, we're not drug dealers. I think you're looking at yourself on that level, okay? And, you know, this is not the time to maybe say it, but I'm going to call it as it is, because you don't ever come for my family with that defamatory accusations like that, Mr. Raspek.
100%. But we're here now.
Yeah.
And bless you, Brother Rangi. Bless you, Aki. We're here now. So all the naysayers and the soothsayers and those that say that they're there for people in the community, this was a massive, massive incident in our community, and everybody knew about it. The thing went viral. You understand? It was on the lips of everybody. But here we see practically none of them. So what that tells me is that we work with the baseline cohort that we have to build resistance. Forget all these other naysayers. They're going to go down with the sinking ship. You know that old reggae tune? I can't sing very well today, but there's an old reggae tune that it says, "Come on, me say, come away from the land of the sinking sand." You must know it, Derek.
Well.
Come away from the land of the sinking sand. We need to do this.
Yeah. Can I just say something quickly again, please? due to the complexity of the complex issues transparent to the objective route of this whole case, the whole entire platform were being very cantankerous and uncooperative.
Mm-hmm.
And they also were inflicting deception, right?
Mm-hmm.
The action of deceiving someone.
Yeah.
And something like that should be taken very seriously. It should not be tolerated in this day and age.
Mm-hmm. Most
Because
definitely.
deception is something very serious that you can portray not on one who's going to court, but on the whole entire family.
Yes.
Yeah. The amount of slander that was said about us,
Straight across the board.
and bearing in mind, these people never once came to approach me as the maternal aunt of the children. I was blocked from getting an initial assessment done, a viability assessment to have care custody of the children. Yeah. I only got that in March, and they still failed me. And the grounds they failed me on were rubbish, to the point I had a solicitor approach me on a pro bono basis and was happy to represent me and help me to file my papers in court to appeal the viability assessment decision. We wrote to the director of social services. Yeah, he totally ignored. He got his little chief dress to respond from customer services. From customer services. What? But then, yes. Yeah. And in actual fact, you know, the devil is a liar, because an email got sent to him, and he acknowledged that email. He acknowledged that email recently. Just most recently, before obviously the children were returned back. He acknowledged that email, and they were trying to say that this is the first time that they had ever heard of us, the family. But then, yes, again, when you're playing a game of chess and you've got your nice queen, you know, to able to checkmate them, I said, well, unfortunately, you're lying yet again, because the previous emails that were sent by the family were acknowledged by a Deborah Carr. Let's just say it out in the open. So Milton Keynes, yet again, you are checkmated with your notorious lies.
Liz, tell us about the moment in court when social worker was caught lying. That's a nice one.
Sorry.
I'm going to go and get a glass of something while you're telling everyone, yeah? Because I really love it. Yeah.
Right. So my daughter has this excellent barrister. I've nicknamed her the Dark Destroyer. She's a white lady, but the way that she delivered right to the jugular of Lineker Hurren, that was lying after what was it? She swore on oath, which we know that the oath doesn't mean anything to these criminals. She swore on oath to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But then the Dark Destroyer barrister, she went straight for a jugular. She got a bottle of water ready and poured it into her glass, and she slowly went in for the kill. And she said to them, she went to the social worker, were you asked whether you were being recorded? And she said no. Are you aware that you were recorded? She said no. Well, all the things that you just sworn at, that you believe, of the allegations that you were accusing my daughter of. She accused my daughter of threatening to go to somebody, a medical, pediatric medical expert in Cambridge. She accused my daughter that my daughter was going to and assault this person. My daughter didn't do that. She, yet again, when it comes to the recordings, this is what you have to do. So the recordings were sent, because anything that my daughter was doing, she was sending it straight to her solicitors, straight to her barristers, and for them to listen to it and hear it. So when Lineker Hurren decided to stand and give off these lies, the Dark Destroyer went in and basically told her that she was
saying a complete and utter lie, in which she started to quiver because she was caught out, literally quivering. And that's when she then said that she was following, what was it? What was it she said? That she was following the local authority. Well, the Dark Destroyer turned around and said, well, you are the local authority. You are the local authority, because anybody within that position, you know, you are representing your job. You are the face of your job. So at the end of the day, that woman, as well as my daughter, also intervening, because she's a money launderer. She's and why I say a money launderer, because she was taking money to bringing money to my daughter, which wasn't recorded. She didn't want envelopes, cashing in envelopes, large amounts of cash in envelopes.
Tell everyone about that, because we've talked about
yes,
that.
Well,
clear about that. That is a really weird move.
Yeah. Well, my daughter, because she has a lower back disorder, she's and plus from having the baby, because she had the baby breech, may I add as well. She had a breech delivery, and hence why in the beginning, when we set up the GoFundMe, it was basically just to assist her moving around, for which the local authority were trying to say that my daughter was, or the family was trying to obtain money fraudulently, but look at these fraudulent people that were taking cash in an envelope. They didn't want it to go through the books. So I suggest any auditors out there need to go and do a thorough investigation of Milton Keynes Social Services
where that money was
to find out where that money was coming from, because in anybody's eyes, that is money laundering. Yes.
They didn't want it to be listed.
They didn't want anything to be listed, to be honest with you, at all. Whatever they were doing, it was definitely something sinister. And, going back to the situation with my grandson, we have to remember that these people, this hospital was taking out several amounts of blood, 8 tubes of blood from a then 5-month-old baby. The blood is what started all of this off, because they saw whatever it was in my grandson's blood that kept going. Would you believe that my grandson has been prescribed iron supplements?
Because he's anemic.
Because he's anemic. He never went into that hospital anemic.
Oh my
God.
He's anemic now, and he's
anemic.
He's anemic.
If you see how much medication my daughter has been given,
and she wasn't even explained what it's for and how long he needs to be taking it. It's just that I just can't. I mean, and there's other things that I want to touch on, but he's anemic. And then what this Lina Kaharan did is she decided to remove them from their settled foster care with someone that matched their cultural.
Really?
Yeah. She removed them from that foster care without the parents knowing, without notifying the parents. On top of that, Amer sustained an injury to his genitalia in the contact center, and no one knew who done it. Okay. Yeah. We came to find out that in this particular contact center, only volunteers work there, and we don't even know if they're even DBS checked to be working with children. So in terms of the safeguarding, which my daughter wrote to the social worker.
What do you mean an injury to his genitalia?
He had skin missing, and it wasn't like that 4 days before. Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to get upset because. Yeah.
There are some serious damages here. My goodness.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that they're going to be held accountable for, and there's nowhere to run or hide. The Lina Kaharan, she can think that she's going to run to her superiors. We're coming for her, and we're coming for Emma Codrington. We're coming for.
We have reason to believe it was done by a contact centre worker who wasn't even supposed to be supervising the visits. She don't have a social work register number. She doesn't have a DBS. We don't know who this person is because the name that was given was an alias name.
What?
She's the one that stopped my nephew from having bottled milk, a bottled feed twice in that contact centre, but yet she wasn't even supposed to be supervising their contact.
And she was the one that was also saying that no shea butter was allowed to be used.
Yeah, my sister was told that when she saw rashes on my niece's skin, that she's not allowed to use shea butter.
But contact centre staff aren't social workers. They're not allowed to say that. They are there to document. That's it.
Oh, they always used to have a lot of input. They had too much now.
The manager of the contact centre resigned and moved on to another department, because when that injury took place, there was a lot of supervisors in there all of a sudden. And my sister asked Lineker the question in front of them, you need to explain to me who has been handling my children in this contact centre, because he has sustained an injury that he didn't have 4 days ago. What these lying people came back and said, because what she did that day, Lineker Hurren, is took the children home to the foster carer herself. Normally how contact, from what I understand it over the last 7 months, the foster carer brings the children to the contact centre and takes them back. She took my niece and nephew in the car. We don't know who she dropped them off to. We don't know who she took them to. And that's why she resigned. She had to resign that day in court because she got checkmated.
So she actually resigned at court.
She resigned in court.
She was meant to be moving to a different department within social services. But because my daughter, Dion, wrote to social work in England about a lot of grave concerns, and as well as the money laundering that she was doing, taking cash and what have you, and lying on oath, she had to resign with immediate effect. She's out of that job. But she is still going to be subpoenaed because criminal charges need to be brought against 100%.
Her. I mean, look, there are circumstances where social workers transport or family support workers even transport children to contact. But that's only usually if the parents are kind of, if there's a reason that the foster carers can't do that. It's usually the case. And if they're known to do that, what would be the reason to do it yourself?
But in this instance, we definitely knew the children were removed from the settled foster care setting. But I want to add something to that. I filed an application on the 3rd of May to the family court to appeal my viability assessment, the negative viability assessment, because the grounds, like the solicitor said, were not grounds to say that I was not suitable to look after the children. I've got 3 children of my own. Okay. Yeah. Now imagine I got dismissed, but yet they moved the children out of the foster care setting that they were quite happily settled, that matched their cultural values, and moved them somewhere else without the parents knowing. This was a week or so before they were returned. We don't know how long they were removed. And then my nephew sustained an injury. I mean, on top of that, from the very beginning, no one bothered to find out if my niece had any allergies or any medical conditions. She was given cow's milk and suffered a severe allergic reaction. My sister never knew till months later after that happening. Then we discovered that they were in Cambridge University Hospital. Yeah. Okay. And then they undergoing what we believe to be genetic testing because it was mentioned. And then they had the audacity recently to want to push that in court for a mirror to undergo genetic testing when they hadn't found.
For what reason?
Well, they hadn't found. We still don't have the 36 X-rays to her skull. If you remember at the beginning of this happening, and why they kicked off my door is because she needed to undergo a child protection assessment. Not one disclosure. Yes, not one disclosure. No skeletals. No MRI scans.
What?
Nothing was produced in court for 7 months. So what were they taken for? But then the narrative you're using is that my sister doesn't like medical treatment and she failed to provide the duty of care to her son. Well, how about she went to that hospital 3 days in a row? 78 hours they had to give him the treatment that he supposedly needed, and they never did. How about it was proven that all he needed to have was vitamin D and calcium supplements by a paediatric locum.
St. George's, wasn't it? That was
no. This is in Milton Keynes Hospital.
Again, right? Okay.
No. So when he was at Milton Keynes Hospital,
that was what they were supposed to treat.
That was what they were supposed to treat. But then we had a lunatic that decided to conduct his own case and say that he had 4 seizures. He even sent my nephew's blood results to Oxford. Thank you for your small minuscule or whatever it was he had, minuscule. This is what I'm saying. This was illegal medical research. Whatever it is they saw in my niece and nephew, the golden things they saw in them, this is what it was about. Forced medical research.
Yeah. And you know, this has to be a lesson to our viewers out there, that when you have a rare blood type, your children have a rare blood type, beware. And I said this time and time again, please do not feel that feel complacent, that this cannot happen to you. If it is not directly to you, it could be, you know, any other relative. Because when it comes to our race of people, these people, they're so inquisitive. They want to look for what they never created.
Brown and people of color. If you're not Western, classic European, they're coming for you. Absolutely.
Yes. Especially when you have a rare blood type.
Let me hear from the boys. Let's hear from Rangi. Let me just hear from Rangi, and then we'll hear from Derek as well. Rangi, you know a lot about this, and especially the agenda that is out there. You know, that Miss Rangi was a few months ago now, wasn't it, Rangi? That Miss Rangi a few months ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You might want to reintroduce yourself, bro.
Well, I'm Rangi. I've been stuck speaking up against these authority members since 2014. And that's because of what they were doing to my children. So, I mean, there's a lot going on with that side of it, because the issue with my side of it actually involves rapes, which the authorities covered up deliberately. So now the victims who were raped before their involvement and are in a situation where the police and nobody wants to take the reports in. So it's a situation where pedophiles are actually run and roam in the streets, and nobody's doing nothing about it. And this is all done deliberately, the way it's came about now. But so I'm now a campaigner. I'm going through a situation where I've still got one of my children missing. I haven't seen him since 2017 because of this game they play. The longer they leave it, they try to. It's like becomes a blaming game. Yeah. The only difference is now is they're not using my children against me as a weapon. They just gave it to somebody else. That's all it is. So now I'm just going for them directly. So the ones that were responsible, that's who I'm taking out. I don't care who they are. There's no exemption notices.
And all those that are associated with them as well. What do you think about this injury to the baby?
To the baby.
All of that going on, because that sounds very sinister indeed, in my estimation.
It's like his skin was burnt off.
Yeah,
it was burnt.
Yeah, well, this is very, very true for anybody who is listening. You're 100% right. It's got to do with blood types, and I've seen a few of the cases where the children are actually taken because of the blood types. Wow. And this is a scary thought. I mean, what kind of society we're in, or the authorities are, but that's just how they roll. I mean, it's easy to, we call them evil, we call them devils. It's much easier if you just understand them as they're wolves in sheep's clothing, because that's exactly what they are. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They're not there to safeguard and child protection at all. I mean, we could understand if it's a pocket somewhere where it's happening, but with what I'm doing, I could already have evidence of nearly 200 to 300 towns and cities that it's actually taken place with. So this is something that is deliberately done, and especially with the minorities. I mean, the amount of cases, especially the African and Asian community, it's a deliberate attack because we have cultures and moral standards. Now, these people don't have no moral standards at all.
Exactly.
I mean, we mentioned earlier on that they're liars. Well, in a nutshell, that's what LCS came about, because everybody can now prove that social workers are liars, criminals, and storytellers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the Ofsted reports, what do you find? It tells you that they're inadequate in all areas. They're unfit for purpose. And yet you give our children to these psychopaths?
Yeah. I mean, because that's what they are, psychopaths.
They are sadistic.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't understand. It's just psychopaths.
No, 100%. Now, one of the things
let's have it right. There are good social workers out
Yeah,
there.
there
Yeah,
are some.
they are.
Yeah,
There
there are
are.
some.
One of them, but you know what Lorraine did was she did what all of them should be doing, and that is to expose it from within.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what she
Yeah.
was about.
Well,
We need to be fifth columnists in
Yeah.
whatever
no,
discipline, whatever career
yeah,
path that we choose to go in. We need to be fifth columnists in that system.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rangi.
no, 100%.
Sorry.
You see, you just mentioned, is there any good social workers? Now, we all know there's good social workers out there, 100%. But there's a different war taking place with inside. So with my case, deliberately, for example, what they did is every time a social worker did the right job, they'd sack her, remove her, or send her on the sick.
That's exactly
And, and when the social worker would actually do the crime and she's about to get caught, they just move her to another department to continue the operation.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see, this is like having somebody knowing that it's causing alarm, distress, and
What
abuse
happened
on
to Carla
on a
Hurd?
child, and then they deliberately move them to another department. That's like
Yeah.
a paedophile you know about, and we don't want to talk about. We'll just send them somewhere else.
It
Yeah.
reminds
I
it reminds me of the Catholic Church when the priests abuse children. They just move them to another country, a different church, and they just keep moving them around. They never deal with them.
Yeah, well, this is why one of the things you've been talking about is we need to go for every one of them. I mean, that's what I've done now is I'm going for every single one: team manager, director, chief executive, chief commissioner, I don't give a monkey's. Nobody told me that these people have got exemption notices to do all this.
Exactly.
You see, now with me at the moment, I mean, they've tried to put a gagging order on me, which is absolutely pathetic. I mean, I've been traveling for the last 2 years. Everybody knows they've been caught with their pants down. Everybody knows it's game over. They're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
clutching at straws, and that's the reason why they're deliberately ignoring it, because they've got an agenda. They've got an agenda to take 1 million children this year.
They have a quota.
And,
exactly.
yeah, they have a quota. See, the quota by 2025 is to take 2.5 million children. That's how ridiculous it is. And that's not going to be happening on our watch. You can't just manufacture crimes. But let's look at it this way now. Now, when we have evidence, why are they trying to put gagging orders? Why don't they take responsibility? The reason why is because this game over. Once you start one place, the whole network of the operation throughout the United Kingdom is done for. 100%, because it's a criminal. Well, like you mentioned earlier on, an organization has criminality in it. But when you don't fix it, meaning if you don't ask them to stop lying, doing crimes and telling fibby stories, we will be a better place. But they're not going to stop. And this is where we need to protect ourselves, our children, our neighbors. I just want to really take my hats off to all of you who were actually involved, the aunt, the grandma, the granddad, because you know, when you actually go through that particular time, that is the most darkest, horrible place any human could go to. Okay, so to survive that alone, I love every one of you and I respect you so much. And I would need people to understand you need to stay strong. You need to not be isolated, not be on your own, because when you're on your own, they'll hunt you down. Because I'm so proud of the fact that you've got your baby back. But we're still looking at hundreds and thousands of children that they have stolen illegally, that they're still playing games. They tell it's like the complaint procedure. They always push you onto a complaint procedure. Well, the complaint procedure is a fraud. We've established that, and this is what they don't want everybody to know from me, because that's the truth. There is no complaint procedure. It's a complete scam.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So,
I learned that.
It's just unbelievable what they are actually doing. But this is just the start. We do know that we're going to have a lot more happening yet. There's going to be a lot of, we're going to have casualties. Because now they're being caught, they're going to try to silence every single person. And that's why I did what I did with LCS. Nobody's going to be silenced. Anything that anybody has that I could share and just help and support, this is what we do. Because we want the world to know what the authorities are doing. With evidence, exposing them 100%. So technically, you're like whistleblowers. Why are whistleblowers intimidated, threatened, and go through all this kind of thing? We shouldn't have to. We should be reporting these crimes, but the reason, one of the things that I have found is social services is not even our government. I keep reminding a lot of people that they're a private organization
That's right.
that's been given a job to do that they don't do. Now, a lot of people say, well, what about the police?
They've got
Well, the
targets
police
to meet.
is also, no, the police is also a private company now, a private contracting company. It's not
Privatised.
even owned by the English, by England. It's owned by foreign internationals.
Yeah.
So
That's
they're
why when I
looking at,
asked for my disclosures, they couldn't give them. I asked for the Freedom of Information Act to the body cam footage and everything, and they wouldn't give it to me.
What?
yeah, they won't, because they don't want to give you any evidence. And this is why you're 100% right. Record. You
Yeah.
don't trust
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
they are,
Yeah.
what color creed they are, it doesn't matter. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You could deal with that
And it's
afterwards.
very important. You know, I know that like a lot of people that have been on my social media have said that they're you know, they're intimidated into if they want to do recording. It is your right to record. If they enter your premises and they don't want to be recorded, let them carry their asses out of your property. You didn't invite them in the first place. Yeah, they trespassed in my property and told me that I couldn't be recording inside my own home.
Rubbish.
That's what they said to me. But yet they failed to provide those disclosures in court.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I personally tell everybody that you don't even have to tell them that you're recording, just record it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, we didn't. I mean, apart from like the lives, obviously, when, you know, the police went there, then yes, we took out phones and recorded. And that was so important because you can't hide your lie from the camera. You can't hide from what is being recorded.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
This is where the Lineker, she got caught out, because if she'd asked, my daughter would have said, yes, I'm recording you. And she could have turned around and said, well, I'm not prepared to, but that's her business. You know, the truth shall set you free, so to speak. But that's what nailed these criminals, is all the recording, all the footage of the live that we sent. And also, can I just say that, you know, I've said just recently, people need to just document it to Social Work England. Regardless, Social Work England are a bunch of shits, right? That they literally are, and CAS people too. But just send in complaints and report it so it is recorded on there, because once you submit your stuff to Social Work England, it has to stay on file.
Absolutely.
Okay, but yet again, do not trust them. Sorry,
let's just hear from Derek. You've been waiting a while, Derek.
Yeah, I'm just adding to what everybody said. My intellectual capacity has reached a climax throughout this whole case. I want to be clear, concise, courteous, correct, and completing what I'm actually saying right now. There are not all bad police people. They're not all bad social workers. They're not all bad judges or whatsoever. But there are people who work for organizations that bring their organization into disreputable dispute, governed by their actions, using draconian measures because they have not been supervised. And that should stop.
Yeah,
that sort of behavior should stop. It should
it's from the top, isn't it? Because
it should not carry on.
Even if you get a good social worker, they still have to have everything signed off by their seniors, and it's the people at the top that have the agenda. And most people are weak. Let's just have it right. So they're going to comply and they're going to acquiesce to keep their jobs. And before you know it, they've created a monster. Somebody who's
You're right. Yeah.
And I think that is the kind of crux of the problem, is actually it's the upper echelons. You know, the worker ants are going to do as they're told, whichever way it swings. Let's just say that, you know? So it's
even going back to this Lineker Hurren, because she was caught by the jugular, by the barrister, she started to name names, and the first person that she started to name was
she's a little snitch. She just sung like a
all of a sudden. Because this is what happens, because when they know they're going down,
They want to bring people with them.
They need to bring everybody down with them. So
bring it on. We're going to hear even more names. But, you know, there was a name that she named. And, you know, that one, it got to the stage that my grandchildren, up until the last, they never even had any social worker anymore because Linda Caharan had to resign. So there was no active social worker for these children anymore.
I'm
They
thinking.
They ran off.
I'm thinking of the
Even
court
to a
papers.
legal team ran off.
When you guys bring a lawsuit, I'm thinking of the court papers and the amount of indictments that there is going to be with these people is unbelievable. And
yes, because it's going to come. There ain't nowhere for them to hide. I'm not even to Mr. McKeith. He ain't going nowhere. I'm not going to let him go nowhere.
I forgot about Mr. McKeith. Oh, yes.
Oh, Mr. McKeith. Yes, Chief, the Director of Social Services. Mr. McKeith, you ain't going nowhere.
Well, ultimately, when there will be an inquiry of some sort, he's the guy that's head will roll because he's going to be ultimately culpable for all of it. This is
there you go.
He's the captain.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we did ask the questions at the beginning, which she had the opportunity to answer. What is happening under your watch? What are your staff members doing? Why are they abusing their authority? How can a child be in danger, but yet they don't have adequate proof to prove the child's in danger? You know, the list goes on. And this particular individual that said that a mayor was in danger, there was several individuals actually involved. One of them is actually responsible for the death of another child because he decided to conduct his own case. So this is all the stuff we've done our research and found out. And Google the asthma boy in Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
Then you get your answer.
Yeah, I've uploaded that on my.
Can someone Google that for me right now and send it to the chat?
The asthma boy in Milton Keynes. That's the very same individual that told the lies on my sister.
And he's still practicing in Milton Keynes.
And he's still practicing in the hospital.
And he's held on his watch. Why hasn't he been strung up in the coroner's dock?
Well, you know, the barrister brought that up, and I mean, he wasn't expecting to be questioned regarding that, and he blamed it on he was a team
in a team. So there's a team of them, as we all know, that commit these crimes.
Yeah.
Afua, just quickly, please. Yes. When this case started, it was known as a vacuum case or whatsoever. They were conducting cases behind my daughter's back. It was I who made her be heard in the Royal Court of Justice because this lady by the name of Emma Quadrington, who I hold responsible for this whole case.
Yeah.
She brought down NHS, she brought down judges, she brought down the police force. She is corporate for what has happened, and she played a vital role in this whole thing, and she hasn't been heard of.
She's a chief witch, isn't she? She's the chief witch. She's the
how can somebody in 2023 have 2 court hearings in one day? 2 court hearings in one day.
Yeah. And you were a key witness to that, Dad. You were a key witness to that because you were present in court.
I was present at that court.
And she lied under oath saying that she didn't know where the whereabouts of where my sister was. And she was sitting right inside that courtroom.
She said she didn't know the whereabouts of.
And the judge had to say that I have to stop you right there. And she asked the usher to pan down to the 4 of you that were there, because it was yourself. Who else was there? Usman and his brother.
The judge says, "Let me stop you there, Emma Quadrington. There are 4 decent people sitting down inside of this court. Yes, you don't know the whereabouts, because as far as I'm concerned with the deception and everything that was going on, I hold her accountable.
She is. She's the one
for this whole thing.
Yeah, most definitely. I totally agree with you with that.
And she's even that same individual, Emma Codrington. Like I said, there's photographic evidence of her escorting my sister into St. George's Hospital because she travelled 51 miles from Milton Keynes with the intentions of with Thames Valley Police as well to bring my nephew back to Milton Keynes, 51 miles or whatsoever, back to Milton Keynes. But bearing in mind, he was at death's door or he was going to die and he was severely sick. But they allowed 72 hours to pass whilst my sister was there for the 3 days.
What
and had the audacity.
What hurts me is this Emma Codrington said she would do everything in her power
and she
to
did.
bring my grandson back to Milton Keynes.
And she's a mother of 2 children herself.
In 2023.
And she said that directly to Denise's face, didn't she? Or
yes.
to your face. My goodness.
Yes. And that's why I was being clear, concise, courteous, correct in what I was saying, that there are people who work in organizations, right, that bring their organization into disreputable dispute, governed by their actions, using draconian measures because they have not been supervised. That should stop. And it should be rewritten that something like this in occurrence should never happen again.
Yeah. But Emma Codrington she filed an application based on asylum seekers at flight risk. That's why there was over 40 police officers that were outside my house and why they kicked off the door in the way that they did. And what makes it worse,
what she was doing, right?
What makes it worse, this was so calculated, and what makes it worse is up until now, they still don't know what the concerns were about the children. It was proven that all my nephew needed was calciferol and vitamin C.
That's it.
What they took a mirror for is still an open, large question. And now they tried to find things about her being slow for her age, considering they had her down as a 3-year-old and not as a 2-year-old. You know, they've continued to get her date of birth wrong.
These are meant to be professionals.
On the viability assessment, their dates of birth are wrong. It's just it's the endless maladministration, fraudulent, purposely, not in error, on purpose. That is for me. You know,
and these are professionals, professional crooks, professional fraudsters, professional criminals. That's the only profession I know.
Seasonal crooks.
Yeah, we hit the nail on the head there, Liz. I mean, they're professionals indeed. Professionals in being liars, criminals, and storytellers. That's what they are.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
And there's a whole load of these. And you know, when you start working with them, as long as you understand, it's easier to work with them when you know the wolves in sheep's clothing. And it literally is work with dumb and stupid. You know what I mean? Literally. I mean, they have no sense of understanding. I mean, look, God Almighty tells us anything that makes common sense, seek no other sense. As soon as you realize that they just don't make sense, you know they're up to no good. Because they don't know how to answer the questions, they don't understand why they're doing it, and they just continue to do it.
They wanted my niece to have genetic testing, but yet they didn't provide any disclosures of the medical she had since she was taken. The 36 x-rays they wanted to do to her skull, the MRI scans, the list goes on, but yet we've discovered that they were in Cambridge University Hospital. What were they doing there? To this day, they have not provided the medical disclosures to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. But yet the narrative is that they had cause of concerns of these children. They sent them home with bundles of medication, but didn't even bother to tell the parents what it was for and and how long they need to take it. But yet the narrative of my sister and brother-in-law was that they refused medical treatment and they're neglectful of their children. We have to make it make sense. It's the swaying of the words for me.
And that's always where it is, isn't it? The devil's always in the detail.
My nephew left St. George's Hospital in good health. He had whatever treatment he needed to have, but that treatment that he had was probably enforced based on Emma Codrington's lies. He just needed to have treatment at home and be reassessed in 4 to 8 weeks. But because of her lies, That's what happened. But they done what they needed to do, and he was healthy when he was discharged. Now he's anemic.
He's anemic. Yeah.
How does that work? How does the child
was the situation right in the beginning? That's
And
what
this is all under the care of a social worker who's responsible for a boy who died.
Yeah,
we've got that clip now.
Yeah.
This is the hospital blame for the death of asthma boy who would have survived with basic medical attention. But it says the hospital was blamed. But he was the social worker in charge at the time.
He wasn't a social worker. He was a consultant.
He was the pediatric consultant, Dr. Abraham Uman.
Oh, the same man. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Why is he still practicing medicine?
Well, that's the question. That's the question.
The legal team posed that question to him.
Actually, we will be the people to get him struck off. That's what
he needs to be gone.
Because he's in breach of his Hippocratic oath.
Well, he needs to be prosecuted as well. This is the issue that we have. They always keep leaving and getting to a job in another place. They all need to be prosecuted.
Him and his team need to be prosecuted.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the bias the problem that we have is, look, I'll give you an example. Last year in Middlesbrough, there was a social worker man who was looking after 2 teenage girls. While he was with them, he ended up getting a bottle of vodka and got him drunk and got some oral sex off him. So in the courts, he accepts that, yes, this is what I did. And the judge said, okay, well, you're banned for 12 months from social workers. Go back to work after 12 months. What? If it was me, I'd be going to jail.
Yes.
You see, now this is now the judge's decision. Why have they... Sorry
to cut you, Rangi. I said these things are so fantastical. The average person is going to have difficulty believing it.
Yeah,
they are, but the thing is, we could get your articles and all this that we're talking about. And it's regular.
No, it's true.
This is regular. It's two-sided. I mean, there's no justice out there. With them, they just get pulled off anyway. So, I mean, me personally now, even though sometimes they say you got to go for the top dog. No, I'm going for all of them.
Yeah.
Nobody's told me a social worker's got an exemption notice, or a team manager, or a manager, or a director, or the chief executive. I don't give a monkeys. This is England. This doesn't work like that. That's why, obviously, when Uncle's just speaking there, I mean, in the 2023, and we're still going through this. In this country, this is actually the backward country, not the East, where Africa. No, we're not backward. They're backward. These are backward.
100%.
You understand? And because I know you mentioned about profession, these people have got an issue. You give them a title, it gets to their dizzy little brains. You give them a title, they think they're the law. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Now, to be the law, you've got to at least abide by the law. They don't abide by the law, and this is the issue.
Yeah.
My sister, the cognitive assessment.
The field of social work attracts narcissists and paedophiles. It's very clear.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It's their perfect job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect job.
Like,
and it's even worse than that. I've just been traveling. I've just come back from Bradford. There's a case there. 7 children have been taken away from a family. Now, one of the girls, during this time, they've obviously trying to protect themselves doing recordings. The girl, 16-year-old, has been sexually assaulted in a foster care home. Nobody wants to know. The 9-year-old boy has just had his arm snapped in 2 places and had an operation in the care of foster carers. But what they turned around and said is, oh, it was just a mistake. It was just what? You persecute us.
Those are the excuses they were giving when my niece and nephew were sustaining injuries.
Rashes on the face.
You know, it's just
pricks to the ECL, the baby's feet. He had like tiny little perforations, pricks.
And you guys have documented all of that, no doubt.
Yeah.
You
know.
Well, one of the things I think people might want to eventually wake up to is what goes on behind the scenes is quite different. We're talking about these people being civilized, but they're not civilized with our children. They are intimidating our children, threatening our children. And our children, Absolutely. Now, our children at that point are the most vulnerable. They don't have a voice, so they oppress
Exactly.
them as much as they can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That little boy, he can't
Yeah.
speak to tell you what happened to him, but they could do
Yeah.
whatever they want. They could stick needles in him, whatever they want. You know what I mean? This is why you the child sustained injuries, and
Yeah.
this is why we want the answers of them. We want them fast
Yeah.
because this is
Yeah.
about safeguarding children and child protection. If they're doing it there, they're
Exactly.
doing it everywhere
Exactly.
else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we
And to
know
this
this is
day, we don't know
literally
what
happening
medical
everywhere
intervention
now.
is taking place. And they keep talking about what's
Well,
in the best interest. That's why one of my recent posts that I put up there, I said nothing that they did, like the removal or anything, was in the best interest of these children. I don't know where they get that terminology from, because they need to. They don't even uphold it.
Not allowing them to be with family members that they know, but to ship them off to Cambridgeshire. What I mean,
is in the best
if they're
interest of the
residents of
child?
Milton Keynes, what on earth were they doing in Cambridgeshire University Hospital? What on earth were these children doing it? So this is how you know it was all a calculated plan.
Yeah.
And there was an agenda here.
Right from the beginning.
The agenda was genetic testing. And that's why an article came out recently about rare genetic types being found. And I have reason to believe that had something to do with my niece and nephew. Okay? The rare genetic types that they found, or rare genetic genes that they found.
Yeah.
Well, that is very, very true. I totally agree with that. There's cases like that up and down the country now. But you know what we got to do is stand fast, stand strong, all of us together, and do what's right. Because as human beings, we need to do what's right.
We have to keep it in the public domain, and we have to continue to expose these people. Don't feel frightened to expose them. You know, we have to expose them. We have to speak out.
I was going to say, Liz, the point as well is that we need to keep pushing, excuse me, on our social media platforms, because the mainstream press are blacking that out. They're not going to cover that.
Yeah.
It's a massive conspiracy in that regard. We're seeing more and more footage of this going on around the world.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's in the UK is a talking point on one point, but it's also an action point, and we need to actually bring this together in action. You know, it's great being on the live and everything. I'm going to actually go inside soon, guys. It's got completely dark out there, and I look a bit weird. But yeah, we now need to bring this together. That's what we need to do.
Most definitely.
We need to join hands with brother Rangi. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And you know, really be kind of focused about that. You know,
and even though, you know, my grandchildren are back, may I add, I'm still not going to stop speaking up and speaking out, because, you know, we've got to be we've got to be villagers for every other child that's out there. There's a lot of children that's still out there, as we know, that is going through, if not worse than what we as a family. So I will continue to keep speaking up and speaking out. They're not going to silence me. They can try all they want, but I'm still going to keep speaking out.
I think they've realized now, Liz, if they didn't realize before, they've definitely realized now that they are not going to silence you and your family. They know that.
No way.
They know that.
No
But
way.
be vigilant, my brothers and sisters. I know that you are, but be vigilant, because
of course,
your targets.
Of course. Yes, of course. Yeah.
So it's all about vigilance, and it's all about you know.
Yeah.
You guys know what it is and what you need to do, you know?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm going to put the link out because I want to hear from some people. There's been people in the chat kind of sharing some of their experiences, and I'd like them to come on and maybe share a little bit themselves. Maybe this is
if anybody's got any questions that they would like to ask,
absolutely. I'm sure people have got lots of questions. So there's the link. Hit the link, guys. Jump on. I want to hear from you guys. Don't stay in the chat on this one. You know, tonight's a special night because actually it's a rare thing. What you achieved, Rangi, by getting at least some of your children back, most of your children back, and what you guys have achieved as well is a rare thing. They don't give them back easy. You guys, because you documented, because you came so strong and you came so effective, you know, so capable is the reason they've given those children back. There's many that have tried, but they just didn't have the tools, you know? And you guys had the tools, and you're actually their worst nightmare. You're their worst nightmare, you know? And so therefore, you know, I know you're already on this, Liz. I know you as a family are on it, and Rangi certainly used his experience for that as well. But it is about that. It's about saying, well, actually, this is not going to happen to anyone else, and I've got my purpose now out of this terrible experience. I've got my purpose that I can now step forward and try to advocate for others that are not as articulate as me, not as powerful in the way they speak. There are those that don't have that voice, and we are that voice.
We were new to this. We knew nothing about this until this came to our doorstep.
Yeah.
We knew nothing. We had to put a lot of research in. We had to research the individuals that were bringing this false business to our family. You name it.
Yeah.
The names of the consultants, you know, the names.
Research them.
We had to research them and know what they're about. Find out if they had previous cases. That's how we got to where we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's ways and means of finding out these people, and
you kind of learn in earnest, don't you? You learn in earnest, and you know, you have to become a lawyer and an admin expert, an admin executive, and everything else overnight. You know, a filing clerk, whatever.
Yeah,
overnight. And that's what it is, and that's how advocacy is born, really, out of experience. Unfortunately. You know, these things have come to test us, but they've also come to put us on our path. And many people definitely take that path, and many people don't. But at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of serendipitous in the fact that you had to go through the fire to get where you are.
Yeah, I had to be my sister's voice, because she and her partner were having another battle behind closed doors, and that battle was to get their children back, and that battle was to be told, "Oh, you never turn up to court. Oh, we're concerned about your daughter." Here. That's my sister there. She wants to thank everybody.
We haven't seen her up until this point, courtesy of Grandma Liz. We've got
on behalf of everyone of the family
as well.
My sister and husband would like to thank everybody sincerely for all of your support, for all of your love and support. She feels it. She knows it, and she appreciates it.
And she really does. And
Husband appreciates
she will come out and speak at some point, but obviously you just have to give her time to get back with their children. They just got the children back, so they will do. And obviously criminal charges need to be brought forward. So
I commend them both.
She's you know, so thankful to everybody that supported, because you know, we've kept her in part of all the well wishes that we've had. So they both are more than aware of all that you've all done. You know, it goes without saying, you know, down to Rangi, Killer P, you, Afua, you know, a lot of my people on my platform, Open Hearts. You know, I've much love to her. You know, I'm hoping that she's watching. You know, there's been a lot of people that have come out in support of this family, and like I said, you know, that motivates the family and has motivated me to carry on, and I will still carry on.
100%. Jump on the link, guys. Let's come on and give this family some more steam. Share your thoughts, share your experiences if you've got something that you can add. And let's just see them out, man. This is so, do you know what? I'm going to be up. I told you that anyway. I'm going to drive up real soon and meet those babies in person.
Yes, please. You know, please.
They are just the cutest little buttons. They really, really are. Little man. Oh.
He's got a head full of hair.
Yeah.
He's got 4 teeth now. He didn't have teeth. And Mara's like all talking. And when she saw me, she just gave me the biggest hug.
Oh, you know, they're with their cousins at the moment. They're playing about with their cousins, and what a joy that is for them to be back with their cousins. You know,
But it's like I say, it's a roller coaster of emotions, I should imagine.
Yes,
you know, because
we all sit there in awe and thinking, my goodness,
they're sleeping, Mum. They're in bed sleeping. You know, they're not playing.
Oh, they're not playing anymore. They're sleeping. Oh.
Good night. That's why they're silent.
Oh, you guys are so special. Doesn't
it
look like
if there's any people out there that got any questions for the family, now's your opportunity to come and speak to, you know, myself, my daughter, to Derek. Please jump on. Don't be shy. You know, I know a lot of people have supported me on my platform, so come on, and you know, now's your opportunity to come and speak.
I don't know what it is about social media. People.
I know. You don't have to come up if you don't want to come up.
They come to the march, they come to whatever.
Yeah.
And you know what? I used to do radio years ago. I had a gig on a few radio stations, and it was called Shoot the Breeze with Afua. So it was a bit of conscious music and, conscious chat and topical conversation, not dissimilar to this, but a wider kind of conversation. And people used to be ringing in their droves in those days. This social media thing, I don't know what it is about, and especially our generation, you know that we've got a certain demographic within the, in the room. They're just so scared of social media. They really, really are.
Yeah, there's nothing to be scared of. It'd be nice if we can answer some of your questions if it's possible, or put people in the right direction as what they can do. I'm more than happy to kind of like encourage people, inspire people, because it's not at all easy. And when you don't have we're fortunate that we are a very close family, and that has helped a lot. If it wasn't for my daughter doing what she was doing behind the scenes, I was doing what I was doing behind the scenes, and Derek was doing what he was behind the scenes. And, we all came together and, we were doing our own individual bits.
Also,
behind.
as well as the ones that had the expertise that reached out to us at the very beginning, they gave us the advice, they showed us, they told my sister what she should write, they told us about the processes of what is going to happen and how long it's going to be. But even though my sister had an independent social worker come on board, I can't discredit her, because she done her job and she done her job well. It still took almost 2 months for them to be returned. Because she basically said, in a nutshell, what you're saying is over exaggerated, and in a nutshell, the children need to be returned. On top of that, my sister had a cognitive assessment, positive, a mental health assessment, positive, right? And they still were trying to find reasons not to return the children, and to say that they were highly concerned. To the point that even it was mentioned that, of course, a mother would be concerned if she's witnessed firsthand what she had at the hospital.
That's what I'm saying.
Who in their right mind would be happy to stay in that environment? And then on top of that, months down the line, we come to find that the person's already been responsible for killing somebody else's child. Responsible of being part in killing somebody else's child by deciding to ignore the professional that was able to provide the treatment to the child, but conduct their own lunatic case. And this person's allowed to be able to give statements in court.
He needs to go. The whole team. If he says he's working with a team.
What's his name again?
Dr. Abraham Uman.
Yeah, he needs.
If you look on that article with the asthma boy, you'll see his name mentioned there.
Yeah.
It's there. And that article is quite...
roll this. That's what I do know. Lots of heads are going to roll over this. And one of the things that's it's taught me a lot, this case, about our community as a people. That's one of the things that I've kind of taken away from it, is how we stay, what we've become. Because there was a time when there would have been thousands in the street over a thing like this.
Yeah. That's true.
Myself, Rangi, probably, definitely Derek and Liz can remember a time when that could not go on. It would have caused riots. And where are we now? Stoning the family and accusing.
Because people are so complacent. It's somebody else's worry. Somebody else's.
Children for no reason.
Oh, what have they done to actually? They must have done something to deserve this happening to them. The list goes on. I mean, what doctor calls a mother in the middle of the night and says, you need to bring your child back to hospital because he's going to die? I mean, do we not have ambulances in this country? I'm just trying to make sense. And then this is run through court for 7 months. What child that's at death's door or is in danger? Is the mother expected to call a cab and bring that baby back to the hospital, and was there for 78 hours with no treatment being administered, just observations and wanting to take more and more blood?
It was always about the blood.
It's just
and
none of this is what they're saying is hearsay or fairy tale illusion. This is factual. What happened? You call someone in the middle of the night and tell them that they need to bring their baby to the hospital because they're going to die. No ambulance was dispatched. Okay, then they go and witness 2 senior consultants using adult needles to try and remove blood from a 5-month-old baby, to the point a nurse had to step in and say enough. She had to get my sister to put my nephew on her breast to calm him down, because he was literally trembling in the pain of where they were trying to take it from his arms, his legs, anywhere that they could find veins. And these are the people that had access to my nephew to the point he's anemic now. Where did the neglect come from? This is the major question, because when he was under my sister's care and my family's care, they weren't anemic. They never had rashes on their face. They never had skin missing from their genitalia and all of this kind of stuff, right? And then they had the audacity to even say that that was nappy rash when he never had it 4 days ago. What nappy rash removes the skin? And if that's the case, he was facing neglect from the foster carers.
Yeah. Yes.
Because none of my children have had nappy rash. I'm not saying, but none of my children have had nappy rash. When your child messes them, if they do a poo or wee, you change their nappy straight away. How on earth has that happened? But yet they know best than my sister and brother-in-law.
Under their watch.
They know best.
That sort of thing happens in your own home. You're neglecting your child, or it's child abuse.
They definitely would have been arrested if it was them he was in their care and he was found like that. Oh, it's just nappy rash. Now we still don't even know the name of the medical professional that he was taken to.
Mainstream. We're talking about. You remember we were talking, Liz, about sending this mainstream. We're talking about that at the moment. Yeah. And we're going to make sure that happens. We just hope that they pick it up. I think they will. At this stage, they will. But it needs to go mainstream. There are massive failings here, and it's not on.
Most definitely. And that's where I there's no way I'm going to let this lie.
Contact centre workers having the right to tell my sister she couldn't use a bottle warmer. They deprived my sister of breastfeeding her child, and she was not allowed to use a bottle warmer because they wanted her to remake the bottle from scratch. Now, bearing in mind the contact time is very limited, the foster carers are doing what they were doing as their duty of care to my nephew, to provide a made bottle for him to be able to be fed by his mother, who, may I add, had breastfeeding taken away from her. Okay, this individual, right, wasn't even supposed to be supervising the contact. Okay, the manager she's gone about her business. She's left because when she was asked the question to provide the correct name of the individual, and I may add, she probably is still working in this contact center. She was the one that stopped my nephew from getting fed twice in that contact center because my sister was not allowed to use the bottle warmers. Now, what is a bottle warmer for? They said it was to warm up pouches. They have microwave facilities and even cooking facilities in that contact center. So why would the bottle warmers be used to warm up food pouches? This is the heights of evil. These are the people that are working for these organizations voluntarily without having the correct background checks. I want to be using alias names.
And no doubt the correct training.
Yeah.
Well, it seemed like a lunatic. Only a lunatic would tell a mother that she can't use a bottle warmer to warm up a bottle. Only a lunatic would tell a mother.
And what was her justification for this? Was she questioned?
She wasn't questioned because we don't know who the individual's name that was given, and she's going to be coming out soon.
At the time, did your sister question and say, "Well, why not?"
Yeah, she did. She did. She said, "So maybe the foster carers are not doing the right thing then, and they're supposed to know what they're doing with the children." That's what my sister said.
Okay.
Because why would you not be allowed to heat up a bottle that's been freshly made for the purpose of contact and feed it to your child? She wanted my nephew to suffer without milk. And these are the people that were supervising contact with my niece and nephew.
Yeah,
she's the very same one who happened to be supervising when the skin went missing from my nephew. She's the one that would patronize my sister when she would go to the contact center and try and antagonize her to draw my sister out. But you know what? My sister's so strong.
Yeah.
And she's come from a spiritual, highly favored background that she stayed grounded.
Yeah.
The stuff that her and her partner endured, being antagonized by these contact workers, they wanted them to flip, to have a narrative of saying, this is what the type of parents that they are. This is what these people do. They're evil. They're all types of evil.
They're lies.
They're all part of the machine, all of them.
They really tried over the 7 months.
Yeah.
They interrogated her, they antagonized her, they
told my brother-in-law he's not allowed to speak his native tongue to his children.
What?
They told my brother-in-law he's not allowed to speak his native tongue to his son.
So that's another criminal.
This is what I'm saying. It's just endless.
Discrimination.
It's
case.
endless.
So
You
there's
know
a
what?
lot.
This story is
One
far from over.
more important thing I need to add. When it was my nephew's birthday on the 28th of May, right? And we wanted to go as family members to the contact centre. Do you know they turned around and said that my sister can only bring 3 people from the family? And then when she went to the contact centre, do you know what they had laid out for her? Dominoes.
Are you
They
bloody
laid
serious?
dominoes on the table at the contact centre as if to say that's what we would have been playing with when we went there. This is how institutionally racist they are. And we have photographic evidence of that. This is the private contact centre. Okay? Dominoes.
Jesus. I've heard it all now.
Yeah, dominoes.
I've heard it all now. They laid out dominoes for the black people. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's because it's
no, because the thing is, they might as well have put a wog dolly on the table. That's what they might as well have done.
Bloody hell.
A gollywog a dolly on the table and just call it, you know, the ones the woman had hung up in her pub that had to close down or whatever it is. That's what they might as well have laid on the table.
Yeah.
And these are people that we are supposed to be comfortable knowing had my niece and nephew or you know, I'm just sorry. The stuff that we had to encounter behind closed doors with these people was just beyond
the pale.
Yeah.
Institutionalized discrimination, racism, you know, all sorts of things.
Deception.
It's just deception.
Deception. Right through.
Deception right through.
Another thing, yes. With this whole case, I'm starting from the beginning of the case and also at the ending of the case. There's still the local authorities have not found any purpose of holding those children over that 7 months.
None. None.
They cannot conclude on oath what was the purpose of them taking these children. So they said my partner attacked them. He only fought them off, taking.
Miss Els is sharing her experience of what happened to her. So they said that her partner attacked them. He only fought them off, taking their son. Now he's in jail. She's at home, and her son is in care. It's so prolific. It really is. Thank you for that, Miss Els. Unbelievable.
Oh. And there's plenty more stories out there that, you know.
He done what he needed to do to protect his child as a father. And what is he doing in jail? Why aren't the perpetrators in jail?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know why, because the system is what it is and it's unfair. If no one's going to jump on, I think we're going to wrap up quite soon. Yep, I think we're going to wrap up. Just go and enjoy those babies, guys.
Thank you so much. And yet again, I thank you, Afua, the whole, you know, his time is up team, all the people that came to this demonstration.
We don't want to put no roses for it. I'm just saying this is community service. This is what we have.
I know, but
it's
you know,
it's very rare to have someone like yourself, sis, and I just appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done, the demonstrations, you know, the counselling behind closed doors, so to speak. When we needed to phone you were there for us to speak to. Yeah, it's all of those sort of things, and I just can't thank you anymore. Honestly, I can't thank you enough.
We praise God, man.
Thank you.
We praise God.
Afua, thank you as well, and thank you for everybody else who has,
Derek.
You know, everybody else who has been you know, supporting us, and my prayers go out for the continuation and strength that this continues, and we get our just worded results from this whole thing, because at the end of the day, you know.
Hey, sorry, can I just say, A-Star, try and join again. Let me put out the link, actually, because I don't know why that is. I haven't seen you backstage. You haven't popped up at all. So try again. Let me just put it out one more time. There's somebody that says they want to come on.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Derek. Sorry.
Yes, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, we as a community, and with also your help from the beginning, I reach out to you from my heart, right? That the foundation you made, or what you put forward, gave us a chance to be recognized of what they were doing was wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, sis. It's so true. You know what Derek has said. You know, that's why I have to give thanks to you. I mean, I know you never ever want any thanks, and you do that. You know, you do it,
and you're so humble with it. Yeah,
and you're so humble. But I'm telling you, sis, you don't know, and people don't realize. Not enough people realize what you sacrifice and what you do. And the other thing I was also meant to thank was also James as well, that came on both occasions to the demonstration. Yeah. Okay, please, you know, include thanks to him as well.
Yeah, bless up, sister.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi.
I'm okay, thank you. I'm glad baby's back home.
Thank you.
Made my week. Really made my week. I was really following the story from a while back. It's really made my week.
Thank you so much.
Bless you, sis. I know you've been through something very similar yourself recently, haven't you?
Yeah, similar. But I wish I had an army like yourselves to support me in all of this. I'm kind of alone at the moment.
Well, I'll be there to support you if you wish.
Yeah, we're there for your support.
Yeah, definitely.
You just have to get your details. You can
get my support too.
Yeah,
definitely. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. I feel like
and I mean that.
No, we're not just saying that.
I'm not just saying it. You know, please, if you need to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to give my support. Okay, I mean that sincerely.
Thank you. I think I followed you on Instagram. Please, if you can, Afua, that would be really appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah,
Afua,
I'll exchange numbers. I've spoken to this sister before. And I know your story. I don't know if you're ready to share it, sis, but I do know your story, and it's not a good one.
I'll share it briefly. I'll share what I can of it, because we're currently in court proceedings at the moment.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know how they try to silence you and you're in trouble if you speak too much, and the rest, you know, you're kind of silenced. Basically, January, it's myself with an ex-partner who I've ended the relationship with back in 2021. We were very abusive relationship as such. He hadn't come to terms that we'd ended the relationship, wasn't around throughout the whole of my pregnancy, and just turned up at the end, like when I was like 8-9 months pregnant, and wanted to co-parent. So I thought, okay, let me give him a try, because I didn't want my daughter not to have a father as such, just to try have that relationship, you know, despite our relationship not being great. He kind of assaulted me on the 12th of January. Assaulted me 12th of January. So I contacted the police to have him removed from my property. But due to myself having previous social work involvement in like 10 years ago, 2010, 2011, they kind of always want to come back on the case if you're ever pregnant again or have any issues. So they come straight away. So that's when he got involved, when they wanted to do a conference and just see, they were like, you tried to hide your pregnancy from us. I was like, I didn't know I had to contact you and let you know I was pregnant. You know, it's not something people are told when you've kind of disappeared and left.
Well, when they close a case, I mean, I don't know what relevance that information is for them to know, because you have the right to live your life.
Exactly. They're using that against me at court. That's like, she tried to conceal her pregnancy as if I'm committing a crime. I was like, oh, wow.
Who conceals their pregnancy when it's a natural thing for your body?
Yeah.
For you to conceive, and I'm just...
This is exactly what they do. They think that you know, you're their property. I mean, it really just beggars belief. It really does.
Exactly. They wanted me to come and knock on their doors and tell them, guys, I'm pregnant. We are pregnant. We are pregnant. You know?
Yeah,
No,
literally.
we're not. We're not pregnant. You know?
Yeah.
Who wants social workers on their case when they're pregnant? You know, that's the least of that's the worst thing you want on your situation.
It's such an invasion of privacy, but they, you know, that's it. I had one YouTuber that was on one of my social media platforms, and she's known as Nosy Cow, and she had Carla Hurd's profile on her picture on her profile, but they literally are nosy individuals that have got nothing better to do. Literally, they don't have anything better to do.
They're quite voyeuristic, I've noticed, with social workers a lot.
Yes.
Many of them.
And I mean, you know, we've already said it. It's not all of them, but you know, I think unfortunately there seems to be more bad apples than the good ones.
Than good. Yeah, definitely. So that happened.
So tell us,
that happened 12th of January. I kind of called the police to have him removed from my property because he became very aggressive. Because I didn't want him bringing a pit bull to my property, which is understandable, having a 7-month-old baby at the time. It's like, you don't want a pit bull, especially if it's a dangerous dog. I've seen this dog attack people and it's not safe. I don't feel comfortable myself around the dog. So the police came and removed him from my house. 5 days later, I'm bombarded with like 80, maybe 100 emails and text messages asking me why I have a man in my house. He assumed, you know, he just forgot that had happened. After sending me like numerous emails, can I come to the house? Can I come to the house? I'm ignoring them. He's gone and assumed I've got a gentleman in my house and just bombarded me with like, how dare you have a man around my daughter, all of this stuff. He's gone and hacked my email account, or looking back now, he's probably had access to it from well back. This is a very, very malicious, narcissistic, controlling person.
Wow.
Very controlling man as such. So basically he's hacked my email account and he's written loads of emails impersonating myself to look like I've got mental health issues or I'm going through postpartum depression and psychosis. And he's gone and presented it to the social worker, I think, asking the social worker's permission. Can I go around the flat, as if her permission would override that of the police? Do you see the controlling in this? He's tried to use the system to control me.
Yes.
Assumed. So later on, when his friends and everyone has asked him, did you see a man? How do you know she's had a man? He said, oh, I saw through this. I didn't even know he had access to the baby camera. I heard through the baby camera a man's voice. A man's voice. I didn't see a man. I just heard a man's voice. So what, my brain went crazy and I thought the worst. But keep in mind, we haven't been in a relationship since 2021. All my friends knew we weren't in a relationship. His friends, he hadn't even told. His family, he hadn't even told that we'd broken up, you know? He lives his life. He doesn't live with me. We don't reside together. So he does what he does. I don't bother him or chase him up with it, but he just wants to control me as such. He's a very controlling, malicious kind of person. And because he knows I haven't got any family, he feels he can have that control over me as such. Yeah. So basically, he's gone and presented it to their social workers. They've said to him, don't go around. What are you going to do if you go around? Just record her and send us the recording, because that's what he tends to has done. He sent them loads of recordings. So they saw it as reactive abuse kind of thing. You're abusing her, recording her when she's reacting to your abuse to her kind of thing. 31st of January, they've come round 3 times in one day. Not once did they mention during any of those visits why they were attending my home. The first visit they came round and they just said, we need to call the paramedics. I said, what? What for? Why are you here? So they were like, we need to call the paramedics. We need to call the paramedics. I'm like, what for? If they had let me know then it was about emails, I would have been able to question where did these emails come from, got them to check the IP addresses, told them it wasn't myself. I wasn't aware of any emails. I was breastfeeding my 7-month-old daughter at the time. I have no time to be sending emails back and forth.
Yeah.
Of about 800 emails at that, 800 emails back and forth. He was having casual conversations at first, like, have you seen EastEnders today? And then he'll go back on his email and send back, no, this is psychopathic. It's a psycho. To the point, it's scary. I have to laugh because it was scary. It showed me how crazy he is and what extent he could go to just because he thought I had a man in my house. You understand? It's actually crazy. It's crazy. So, and then eventually it got more malicious, like, oh, I'm having psychosis. I might harm the baby, all of this stuff. It just got a bit, so they came around my house 3 times. The first time they came around, they said, we need to call the paramedics. I said to them, I don't feel I need to call the paramedics. I don't even know what I'm going to say to them. The police officer that came with the social worker said, you need to call the paramedics. I said to them, no, I don't need the paramedics for anything. My daughter's here. We've been in the kitchen cooking. As you can see, the house is clean. We're fine. We're listening to baby channels on TV. Like, the house is okay. I'm okay. I don't know what to tell them. The officer said to me, this is the one time we're going to do this. We are going to contact them for you, but we don't usually do this. So he contacted them, and I was like, okay, turned off the cooker and everything, went to sit in the front room. The officer stood in the front room with me whilst I'm playing with my daughter. They waited for about 20-25 minutes. And then they said, we've been waiting too long. We're going to go. But when the paramedics come, can you let them in? So I said, okay, fine. That's fair enough. So they left. The paramedics came. The paramedics were very confused themselves why they turned up. They just come in and said, so why are we here? Just like they would with anyone that's contacted the paramedics.
Yeah.
Ask the first question is
they were trying to give the impression it was you.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. I haven't a clue. They haven't told me why he's contacted you. He wanted me to call you, but he's called you. The officer himself that came called you. So I don't know why you're here. I thought they would have given you a rundown of why they called you. And they're like, no. And then they asked me, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. Baby, okay? Yeah, she's fine. Do you want to see her? And they're like, I was holding her. Do you want to see her? They're like, no, it's fine. If she's okay, you're okay. Everything seems fine here. We're going to go. They left. Within maybe an hour or two later, they've come with police again, banging my door down. They've kicked my door off the hinges, literally. They have not, even until this point, I didn't know the emails had been sent or what had been said in these emails until maybe the 3rd or the 4th of February after my arrest and release from police station, you know? So they've come in and I'm breastfeeding because I'm Muslim. I'm usually covered when I'm outside. I dress quite modestly and I don't want the man in front of me while I'm breastfeeding my baby. They've kicked off my door. So I've said to the gentleman, can you step inside the front room and let the female officer behind you step in and the paramedics who are female step in, and I'll talk to them whilst I'm breastfeeding her, because it is about 8:30, 8 o'clock. My daughter's teething. She's had a terrible night the night before. Her first tooth is coming through. You're a male. I'm a Muslim woman. I haven't got anything on. Like, I'm basically in my shorts and my bra. That's it, in my house, you know? Can you step in and just let me talk to the officers? And once she's settled, I will come in and talk to you myself and bring her in. He started shouting, no, back down, this and that, shouting. So obviously with him shouting, I'm scared, I'm shaking. My daughter's just been kicked in. My daughter's moved her head. Breast milk has got on him. So I got arrested for assaulting an officer with breast milk. My daughter got taken into emergency protection order. And the social workers the next day came to the police station when I was released, saying they wanted me to sign a section 20, which I refused to do. Since that day, she's been in foster care, and I've been getting 3 days out of the week I see her for an hour and a half.
A bit like, yeah, that's what my daughter was getting.
Yeah, so basically we've been going through court proceedings. We got the resolution hearing in September and then the final 5-day hearing in March next year. My daughter was 7 months at the time. She's now 1 year old. She turned 1 2 weeks ago on the 3rd of June. She's walking, she's got her teeth. I've missed so many development stages as a mum.
Milestones,
you know?
yeah, milestones.
So many. It's very depressing. It's very, it's not nice. I wanted to breastfeed her for 2 years at least, give her the best start in life kind of thing.
Same thing with my daughter, yeah.
It's so depressing. It really takes a lot from you.
You just couldn't make it up, could you? Assault by breast milk.
Mm-hmm.
It's diabolical.
They turned off my baby cameras in the house when they came in. I've just got the last picture of them turning it off. They disconnected both my baby cameras, and now I'm asking for the body cameras on their body, and they're not providing it to my solicitor nor me.
Yeah.
They don't want to provide it.
Yeah. When I done a Freedom of Information Act, and they still didn't have the body cam footage.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Right. It's part of the Freedom of Information Act. They have to do it.
They told me I need to get consent from my sister, and it wasn't my house that was raided. So I know what they're doing when you've asked for it and they've told you that they don't have it. Mm-hmm. Bearing in mind, they can delete it within 30 days. Mm-hmm. This is why it's important to solicit, to make sure you document and you film everything. Because if their data gets lost, at least you've got yours.
Yeah.
And when I say lost, mysteriously lost.
Exactly.
Oh, they always mysteriously lose stuff, sis.
Yeah.
They've made up so many things as well. When the paramedics came in, they said I tried to snatch her back off her. Like, for me as a mum, seeing them come in with, like, after the breast milk situation, after I spoke to, apparently the breast milk squirted on him by accident. He said I did it intentionally. There was like 30 officers in my 2-bedroom flat. 30. It looked like a drug raid, honestly.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, that's what happened.
They jumped me on my bed. My bed is broken. Do you know what I mean? Like, they jumped me and snatched her off me. So I'm holding my baby, and they're saying I snatched her back off them. So that's dangerous. And the way
but where is the duty of care and the safeguarding of your baby? This is exactly what they've done with my niece. They almost broke my sister's wrist to get her out of my. This is and bearing in mind, my children are in the bedroom at the back, hearing all of this going on. So I know what you've gone through, and this is what I'm saying. Please reach out to us after. I would love to get into contact with you, or even meet up with you in person, to be a support network to you.
That would be good.
I sincerely mean that.
That would be amazing. Can we hear from Sister Kim? Blessed love, sis.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Dee. I've been messaging you on Instagram. I'm not much of a one of those users, but I've been messaging you because I know your pain.
Thank you so much.
I've been praying for you guys. I've been trying to reach out as best as I can, and I'm so happy for you. I know the pain because I've been through it, and I'm still going through it. I still haven't got back my son, just because of a child, a 14-year-old at the time, wanting an iPhone, which I couldn't afford. So I'm trying to get the right plan, because with teenagers, they're on the phone 24/7. So you have to have the right plan so your bill wouldn't be like this. So I couldn't get it. So, things were made up. And like the sister said a minute ago, I'm gagged. Yeah, they just spent thousands of taxpayers' money to keep me shut up, or I will go to jail for 6 months. I don't really care about the jail. What I'm caring about is fighting the corruption that is going on in the social services.
It is corruption.
And this is why this is my motto. Stand together as one, because if we stand together, we will be unstoppable. We will be unstoppable.
Yeah,
this is, but some of us are like, no, that's not my problem. Until
if they don't have anything good to say, they defame your character. So this is what.
It's why we have to build a network. What's your name? Sorry, I said, what's your name? Kim. Have you got Instagram, Kim?
I've got Instagram.
I sent you a message actually about the boy in Milton, Keynes, who died.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so I've got everything there. I record, I do everything. But
can we get your number? Can you send it to Didi, and then Didi?
Yes, Didi. I will send Didi, darling. I love you so much.
I love you so much too,
your mom. Listen, we're in this fight together. I'm behind you all because I know it. I feel that pain.
How old is your son?
My daughter is now 18. My daughter is now 18, but my son is still 8 years old. Yeah, and I see him, and like Uncle said there, Daddy, I know it. They're not all bad. Because I've got a beautiful social worker who is doing the right thing. I follow her lead. I ask if we can we do this, and then see what she says, and we're going on the right channel to get my baby boy home. But I'm with you all. Anyhow, I can help. I've got T-shirts.
Same to you. Same to you.
For innocent parents, I have T-shirts that says our kids are not for sale. I have T-shirts that says no secret court.
Family courts.
I had the page on Facebook, but I've taken it down because I was in court in March. I almost went to jail because of these things. You look at there was a lady who was helping me. She is all the way in the Caribbean, and she has a YouTube channel called Kimify. If you go on Kimify, you will see what I've been through. Safeguarding officers saying that I'm calling the school and harassing her. 7 male police officers came to my house.
Can I just capture that? I'm just going to put it in the chat. Kimify.
Yes. KIMMEYIFY.
Kimify.
Yes. If you go there, you will see 7 male police officers come to my door to break. They almost broke my back. I had to have back surgery.
Oh my goodness.
I had to have back surgery. Was she held accountable? Hell no. She went ahead and make another false report. And I ended up in the court because they want me to be quiet. But I will not be silent. I will do whatever it takes to bring them to justice. And her. She's run from the school that she was in to a different school to destroy other people's children's lives. But people will know about her. People will know about her. Together,
And
we
what's her
can
name?
make a
Well, you
difference.
can't say. Can you say her name?
No, I can't.
Okay, that's fine.
No, I can't.
But I've got your messages, so I will talk after. We'll talk.
Yeah. Guys, Daddy, I love you guys. I'm so
sis, before
grateful.
before you go, is it on YouTube, Kimisai?
Yes.
KIMMEYISY.
F for fish.
F. Oh, F for fish.
Oh,
Yes.
Kimi. So it's KIMMEYIF for Foxtrot.
Y. Yeah, that's it. Everything you need, you will see the way how they behave.
That's on YouTube, right? Correct?
That's on YouTube.
All right, it's in the chat.
Check it out.
Thank you. Definitely check that out. Sis,
Yeah,
I need
sister,
your number.
I know how you feel.
A-Star, definitely want to contact you as well, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to stick together on this one.
Yeah.
We can bring them down together.
Yes.
Most
definitely.
Definitely. God willing.
Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Thank
you.
Don't go anywhere yet, family.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye, bye.
A-Star, I will hit you up, sis. WhatsApp me, okay?
Definitely. Thank you, Afua.
All right, blessed love. When you're ready to tell the full story, it shall be a story indeed.
Definitely. And well done again for having her back, having baby back. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. You will get your daughter back too, and you'll get your son back.
God willing. God willing. God willing.
No, you're gonna get your daughter back, and you're gonna get your son back. This is how we continue throughout the 7 months.
Yes.
We spoke it in consistence. There was no room for doubt, because you have the higher power to claim back what's yours.
Exactly. Yeah. So true.
Especially when it's been taken by demons.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's been 6 months already. But yeah, thank you guys. Definitely speak soon.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
And so it is the happy ending. The happy ending. You know?
Yeah.
I just love it when there is a happy ending and a story comes together. You know what I mean? When a plan comes together, rather.
Yeah.
And a happy ending. But yeah, in your face, I just got to say, I have to gloat. I have to indulge myself in the gloating. I've got to. I can't deal with these people. I have to gloat. In your face.
They really did come for the wrong family, and we warned them each and every time. Do you know what you're doing? Do you know what you're getting yourself into? And they didn't heed the warning.
There was another social worker actually that was with Carla Hurd. Do you remember seeing her face? The other lady that was standing next to her, Josephine Murray. Yes. She stood in my house and tried to tell me that the Milton Keynes County Court overrides the Royal Courts of Justice. And I said, I told her when she left my house. And I said it to Carla Hurd as well. And I said it with my chest. I said, you see you and you, both of you are going to jail for perverting the courts of justice. I said, mark my words on that.
Yep.
They didn't even use the right section when they removed the children.
No. There was no warrant. Up until now, I haven't seen a warrant.
Yeah.
For how they came into my house. That people could not believe what they were seeing. You know, could not believe what they were seeing, and then the trumped up paperwork that came on the back of it. But all's end that ends well. You guys need to get a book out about this. You do. You actually need to document it on the highest levels.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be there for antiquity, for all to see. Not just YouTube. It needs to be out there. It really, really does. And it needs to be, as a Black family, winning in the way that you guys have won and the way that you've conducted yourself as well. You are a merit to us as a community. And that needs to be held up. It really, really does. You are the benchmark of how this is done. Do you see what I mean?
Well, one way in how it's done, yes, is being successful in life. Never ignore what you think about. Even if in doubting question, by seeing, hearing, or being told directly, look at everything openly. To be successful, you have to be smart.
Yep.
To be smart, you have to be organized. To be organized, you have to be smart mentally, physically, and spiritually, having wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Yes. There you go.
And so it is spoken by the wisdom of the elders, you know?
Yeah.
So it is spoken.
That's the principles I went by, because my dad passed that knowledge down to me and my sister, and I've had knowledge passed down from me and my mum, and we had to be very, very careful in how. We had to be very strategic in how we come, because there was already a stereotype put on us, you know. So yeah, we had to be organized in terms of how we carried ourselves, in terms of how we would fight against what they would say about us. It was a draining process, but
that takes a degree of tenacity, of resilience, of articulation. You have to be smart, you have to be intelligent to even arrive at the conclusion and have the self-discipline to be able to conduct yourself in that way.
And my sister and her partner had that throughout. They had that throughout. Her and Usman had that throughout. They had to sit and listen to constant lies being said about them.
And
try to break them up.
Try to separate them.
That's another thing they do.
Yep. It's not easy.
They like broken families.
I've been on the panel at many a case conference with social services. And you know what? There's a real pressure on the professionals as well. Because I don't think did you guys get to case conference? You must have. Did they even do that?
Oh, that's interesting.
Was there ever a case conference?
The case conference they tried to do when they realized that they had failed me on a viability assessment. They failed my mum, and then they only tried to do it a few weeks ago.
Wow.
After the fact.
After all those months passed.
Damn.
They tried to do it.
What I was going to say is that I've been on the panel as a professional of many of those case conferences, and there is always a pressure. What usually happens at the case conference, you've got mum sitting there, usually, sometimes dad, and this young girl or mother is under so much scrutiny, especially if there's been issues. There's been what could be considered minor issues. It might be domestic violence, for instance, and they'll have police at the table, they'll have various professionals at the table, and each person does their report. You understand? So you'll have a girl sitting there and they're reeling off how many times the police has been called to that property. There's so much shaming and intimidation that goes on, and it's really hard, really hard to keep your composure. I've had to calm down many a young mum that's just blown up on
They came and gave my sister and her partner a home visit.
The
woman came to the house wanting to invite us to this family conference.
She wouldn't stop bombarding my daughter.
But it was too late, because we said, what relevance does it have when things have gone so far down the line? Why now?
Usually the conference is to determine whether or not the children are going to get taken into care. Usually what happens. Case conference. So they've done everything arse backwards at the end of the day, is what they did.
And of things.
The other thing is, as I was going to say, is that the pressure, because you'll have all of these things getting read out, then you'll have the chair, who's usually a senior social worker, who will then give their kind of take on the matter, and then they'll invite everyone to vote.
Yeah, this particular social worker, Linda Karam, said quite personal things about my sister, that she was at home saying she was working from home, but she could have been available to come to an appointment. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how she would know my sister was at home. And how does she know that she didn't have a medical appointment? How did she know she hadn't pre-planned something? It was just a slanderous defamation to her character. It was her telling her, my brother-in-law, he couldn't speak in his native tongue to his children, which is what we encourage.
And yet she was the one that was quite happy to do money laundering by bringing cash to the door.
Well, look, the stuff around not being able to speak your native tongue, I should imagine that they would justify it by saying that you could be passing messages, but they won't get away with that because the children are too young.
But he was a 5-month-old baby at the time. He was trying to comfort his son.
That's how they might justify it. But actually, it's about racism, isn't it? Dominoes.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Dominoes. I mean, that is just got to be. Where do you put that? You need a very, very good barrister that's able to articulate that and break it down to the court, because it is the height of profiling, the absolute height of profiling. You know. We're just about to wrap up, Brother Rangi. You look like you lost the signal.
You know what? I wasn't sure whether you were going to be on or not. I ran out of reception somehow on the road, and I thought, well, I better ring, see if I get through. But before you all go, I just want to say, I think you're warriors, and you know what I mean? You've done a fantastic job, and you have our full support. And we are family. This is what it's all about, us collectively coming together. So I'm glad I got back in for the last little bit. And Pops there, you're a fantastic man. I love your encouragement, what you've gone through, especially through this difficult time. So love and respect to everybody out here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Rangi.
We might watch the live back, Rangi, because we had a couple of sisters on that shared their stories, and they're quite important in the wider scheme of the fight. You know, they're real warriors. And,
no, I will do. I will do. And if there's anything I could do, just keep me updated with anything. Not a problem. Well, thank you very much. Look after yourselves.
Thank you. Everyone, take care.
Thank you. Bye. Take care. Bless you.
Yes, sis. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
As always.
Oh, bit premature there.
Honestly, it means so much.
I took you off just before you were saying something. Say again.
No, just wanted to say thank you as well. And you know, we always speak anyway, so we'll be in touch, sis.
Most definitely. Blessed love. Blessed love,
Derek. Blessed love, sis. Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Isn't that just the most wonderful, wonderful story? Oh, there was a guy. Oh, no, it's Derek again. Sorry. I didn't see his surname before. Let me get you off, Derek. All's well that ends well. Is that the old time saying, people? What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful family, man. Like I said, they are an absolute credit to our community. And yeah, we're going to wrap up for tonight, people. Thank you for those guys that came on, A-Star and Sister Kim. And we're definitely going to be continuing that conversation in the background. And yeah, I'm still on a break, people. I'm still on a break, and I'm still putting some material together for the members lounge. So just hold tight. I know I keep saying it, but when it comes, it's going to be worth it. Please, please, please hold tight. And I'm not sure when the next live will be, actually. Whatever comes up in the interim. I guess the next live is going to probably be just before we come back, and it will be centered around Sister Lorraine's funeral. There are a couple of stories that are kind of cooking on the back burner that I'm like, I'm not sure that I want, you know, those victims to have to wait for so long for those stories to be told. So you might see an impromptu live at some point, my brothers and sisters. But if not, I shall see you again real soon in the members lounge. Blessed love. Have a wonderful weekend. It's going to be mad hot on Sunday. So make sure you guys are out in it and not cooped up in the yard, because you know that we don't know when it's coming again. Big up Hurricane Toya. I saw you in the chats and I forgot to say, I hope you're taking care of that bump. Big up all the moderators. Thank you. And I shall see you next time, guys. Blessed love. Blessed love. Mama.